All right, let's get right into it. Every single trader, whether you know it or not, is fighting a war. And it's not you against the market. Nope. It's an internal battle, a hidden conflict between two massive forces, your brain's desperate need for a quick thrill, and the quiet discipline that actually leads to long-term success.
You know, it's probably the most frustrating question in all of trading, right? You've got a solid plan, you know the rules, you're a smart person. And yet, somehow, you find yourself making the same dumb, impulsive mistakes again and again. What is going on here?
And this really gets to the heart of the whole thing. The entire conflict, it just boils down to this simple, powerful truth. Your brain is hardwired for the immediate reward, for that instant gratification. But profitable trading, it's all about patience. It's about process. It's about waiting. The two are just complete opposites.
So if you're going to win this battle, you have to understand what you're up against. And the enemy isn't some flaw in your character, it's actually a biological process. Let's talk about something called the dopamine trap and these powerful urges that can completely derail your best plans.
So what are we really talking about with dopamine? Well, it's a chemical in your brain that gives you this little hit of pleasure or, and this is key, relief. But here's the kicker, the part that changes everything. Dopamine doesn't care if an action is good for your trading account. It couldn't care less. All it cares about is that immediate emotional payoff. It rewards the feeling, not the long-term result. And this is exactly where you see that chemical turning into really common trading mistakes. You know, taking a random impulsive trade that just happens to work out, boom, that's a huge dopamine hit. Closing a good trade way too early just to lock in a small win, your brain rewards you with the feeling of relief. These aren't logical decisions, not at all. They are habits driven by a hunt for the next dopamine fix. And this loop right here, this shows you precisely how a terrible habit gets wired into your brain. So picture it. Your trade goes against you, that stress is building, it feels awful. So what do? You move your stop loss just to make that pain go away. And then the market turns around. Woo! That wave of relief you feel, that's not just relief. It's a powerful dopamine surge that teaches your brain a very dangerous lesson. Breaking your rules feels amazing. So, you know, the easy answer for all these mistakes is just to say, oh, it's greed. But what if that's not really the full story? Let's try to reframe this. Let's move away from thinking of it as a character flaw and see it for what it is, a biological process. Not seriously, ask yourself this question. When you overtrade or you take that massive risk, are you only thinking about the money? Or is there something else you're chasing? Because blaming it all on greed is a little too simple, and it usually misses the real motivation behind the behavior.
And this is the reframe that is so important. For so many traders, the problem isn't greed at all. It's a dopamine dependency. You can literally get hooked on the emotional roller coaster of trading, the excitement, the hope, the relief. At that point, you're not just chasing profits anymore, you're chasing feelings.
Just think about it for a second. That thrill of putting on a huge position, that sweet, sweet relief when you move a stop and the trade comes back. That little ego boost of being right on a gut feeling. That super seductive hope that this one trade, this one big bet is going to be the one that changes everything. Dopamine loves all of this stuff, even if it leads to you blowing up your account.
Okay, so we've laid out the problem, right? This constant subconscious chase for a dopamine hit. So what's the antidote? What's the cure? Well, if dopamine-fueled excitement is the poison, then deliberate, structured, and, well, boring consistency is the answer.
Look, this might be a little tough to hear, but this is the real, unglamorous truth. Professional trading isn't a Hollywood movie. It is boring, it's slow, it is so repetitive, like going through that same checklist for the 1,000th time. It is emotionally flat. It's basically the psychological version of eating a salad instead of a cheeseburger. It's not thrilling, but it is what builds success over the long haul. And your dopamine system absolutely hates every second of it. And here it is, lay it out plain and simple. This is the war inside your head. Your dopamine system is screaming for action, for excitement, for that instant payoff. But consistency, where your actual trading edge lives, demands patience, routine, and structured results over time. Every single trading mistake you've ever made is because you chose the left column over the right. So this all brings us to the final and most important part. It all comes down to a choice. A conscious choice that really separates the pros from the amateurs. You have to adopt a whole new way of thinking. This right here is the fundamental mismatch. Your brain by default wants everything you see on the left, it's wired for it. But the market, which is just a place of cold hard probabilities, it only rewards what's on the right.
Most traders lose because they never ever bridge this gap. They keep trying to force the market to give them that emotional fix, and it just doesn't work that way. The traders who make it, they're not superhuman. They've just consciously rewired their own internal reward system. They have literally trained themselves to get their satisfaction not from a lucky win, but from flawlessly executing their plan, whether the trade wins or loses. They've made following the process the reward itself, and that takes dopamine right out of the driver's seat.
And at the end of the day, this is the ultimate truth of the market. The second your trading starts to feel like a trip to Vegas, exciting, thrilling, full of hope and adrenaline, you are almost certainly just paying for that entertainment with your trading capital. Real profitability lives in the boring, predictable, day in, day out execution of your edge. So, the final question is really for you. Knowing what you know now, knowing that the path to real consistency is paved with routine and repetition, not excitement and thrills, are you truly ready to choose boring? Because that choice, more than any fancy indicator or strategy, is what will define your future as a trader.